Friends, army soldiers struggles, life of the history, wars. You can see this video, real life of the incidents. Don't miss it. Friends, you see the first time my channel, please like and subscribe.
The Pacific War, a brutal, high-stakes conflict that shaped the world as we know it. In the early days of World War II, a storm was brewing across the Pacific Ocean. A storm that would come to define the fate of nations, leave cities in ruins, and change the course of history forever. The year is 1937. The world is on the edge of chaos. The storm clouds of war are gathering. Japan, under Emperor Hirohito's leadership, had already invaded China, seeking to expand its empire in Asia. The Western powers, including the United States, watched warily. But what Japan didn't know was that their ambitions in the Pacific would eventually lead to their own destruction. It all came to a head on December 7, 1941, a day that would live in infamy. The Japanese Imperial Navy, in a surprise attack, struck the heart of the United States Pacific Fleet, Pearl Harbor. Over 300 aircraft rained down from the skies, bombing the U.S. Navy's ships, airfields, and barracks. The skies were filled with smoke, the waters churned with the wreckage of battleships, and a nation was thrust into war. The attack on Pearl Harbor united the American people like never before. President Franklin D. Roosevelt declared war the very next day, sending the United States into the heart of the Pacific. But the war would not be easy. Japan had already gained a strategic foothold across the Pacific, with victories in the Philippines, Singapore, and elsewhere. The stage was set for a war of attrition, where every inch of ground would be fiercely contested. In June 1942, just 6 months after Pearl Harbor, the war took a pivotal turn. The United States, having broken Japan's secret code, knew an attack on the Midway Islands was coming. This would be the United States' first major victory, turning the tide of the Pacific War. The Battle of Midway was one of the most decisive naval battles in history. After Midway, the United States adopted a new strategy: island hopping. The goal? To capture key islands in the Pacific, one by one, in an effort to bring the U.S. closer to Japan's home islands. The war, however, would not be won easily. Each island was a bloody battleground. On islands like Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, and Okinawa, U.S. Marines faced fierce resistance from the Japanese forces, well-entrenched, fanatical, and willing to fight to the death. The brutality of these battles would... In February 1945, the Battle of Iwo Jima reached a fever pitch. The iconic image of U.S. Marines raising the flag atop Mount Suribachi is etched into history forever. But beneath this iconic moment was a battle of unimaginable horror. For 36 days, U.S. forces fought for every inch of this small island, facing relentless kamikaze attacks, underground bunkers, and soldiers who refused to surrender. It was a brutal, bloody conflict that saw over 6,000 American and 20,000 Japanese soldiers killed. As the U.S. advanced closer to Japan, the decision was made, one that would forever change the world. The United States, led by President Harry S. Truman, would drop atomic bombs on 2 Japanese cities, Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The bombings killed over 200,000 people, many of them civilians, and brought Japan to the brink of surrender. The devastation was unimaginable. On September 2nd, 1945, Japan officially surrendered, marking the end of the Pacific War. The horrors of the war, the countless lives lost, and the unimaginable destruction were finally over. The world would never be the same, but the lessons of the Pacific War remain. The cost of this conflict was staggering, and the world had witnessed the terrifying power of modern warfare. The Pacific War is a story of unimaginable courage, tragedy, and the brutal cost of war. It's a story that shaped the world we live in today.